All right. It is 6 o'clock, and we're going to prep some Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to put another hour into developing our homebrew world. Has no name yet. It is a Castlevania Ravenloft mashup. Um, we just call it the Gothic Horror campaign. This is going to be the 12th week that we have been working on this this project. We've got a world that is slowly but surely coming together. Last week we took, hey, what's up, DoFam? Last week we took a detour to check out Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, see what stuff that had to offer. And then we talked about Castlevania and how that influenced some of the design decisions, the decision to even make this setting in the first place, and how we could achieve Castlevania-esque anime fights and feels while still retaining some measure of fear, and what kind of rule set or system could support that, which kind of led us in the direction of making a system agnostic setting, which is kind of cool because it allows us to really be creative and not so much stress adapting it to a specific rule set so much as just building a world that we like and that is enjoyable. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be working on the Folka region today. So, last region that we worked on was Niable Territories. We have Vone mapped out. We have Niable Territories mostly mapped out. Again, we're not doing the smaller settlements on stream. We're going to let those develop either off stream or in future streams or throughout gameplay. We just want the big, they would call them in 4th edition, points of light, right? The places in the world on the map that the good people of the world would gravitate towards. Alrighty. So, Folka, what I have so far is the changing lands. So, this has a number of meanings. One, we talked about its seasons sort of pass rapidly. So, it rapidly changes through its seasons. So, we'll do like a fast facts. So, we'll do fast facts. This is stuff that we know so far. Fae and lycans. Okay. Old Lord dead. The Great Wolf. New Lord is a blood hag. Or just a hag. We'll figure out what kind of hag she is later. And let's see. Seasons change rapidly. Lots of crossover with Feywild and Shadowfell. All right. So, now that we know that, I kind of want to start with the design questions from creating a domain of dread that were in Van Richten's guide, because I found those to be really, really evocative questions last week, and I felt like they would be huge as far as getting the feel of this place down. Now, the difference here between the Niable Territories and the Folka is the Niable Territories has but one lord, right? Justin. And Justin's act of betrayal, essentially, is what made him a Dread Lord, and then that, of course, shapes the domain, because the whole idea of a domain of dread is it's shaped around the lord of that domain. So since we have these 4 neighboring and warring domains, and the one neutral domain in the center of Vone, we want to make sure that we shape it around the leader or the Dreadlord of that region. Now, the reason I call it the Changing Lands is not only are the Fae shapeshifters and changers, the lycans are also shapeshifters and are able to change. Fae creatures are called changelings. The seasons change rapidly within this area, but also there is the realm as it was under the rule of the Great Wolf, and there is the realm as it is under the domain of the new lord, the Hag. So, we'd kind of need to fill this out twice to get an idea of what it was and what it is. Okay, so what was the wolf, and then we'll fill this questionnaire out a second time, and it will be what is the Hag, and then we can sort of parse out the difference there. All right. So, let's talk about the Great Wolf. Why did the Great Wolf become a domain lord? What I like... exactly, yeah. We're going to start heavy on the lichen in the forest, and I'm just going to figure out what was the wolf like. So the temptation here is, in Grim Hollow, let's see, we got Grim Hollow book on our quote-unquote desk. So in Grim Hollow, there is a region that is, I believe it's this one, the Valican clans. It is a bunch of Vikings who are also lycanthropes, which honestly, I think we had talked about that early on, like making them Viking lycanthropes. This is nothing new. Skyrim, get ready to feel really old, is like 40 years old today. I don't know, it's like the 40th anniversary of Skyrim. So yeah, like they had Viking werewolves, obviously way before that, and then Morrowind is what, 66 years old today, something like that, 66th anniversary edition of Morrowind, and that had the expansion that had Viking werewolves in it. So Viking werewolves is like, it's nothing new, right? It's nothing new. D&D has had Viking werewolves. It's had frost giants, were polar bears. I mean, Vikings and lycanthropes, you know, bread and butter, you know what I'm saying? They go together. Peas and carrots, etc., etc. Pillage and plunder, right? They go together. So I like the idea that he is, in fact, a Viking or Viking-esque person, right? So, Viking lord. And he had a tremendous hunger. And the hunger drove him to ever greater feats of conquest and glory. But, like all great hungers, it could never be sated. Alright. So, this basically led him to, led he and his followers to greater and greater acts of cruelty and, what's a good word for Viking capitalism? Like all great hungers, it could never be sated. Led he and his followers to greater acts of cruelty, and we'll just put depravity. There we go. As they sought ways to satisfy this contagious hunger for all things. Right. The lands they called home became desolate and dead, and so they spread across land and sea. Each new place suffering the same fate: destruction, conquest, and consumption. Eventually, the spirits of the land had enough and called to the oldest primordials for rescue? I don't know. We're not writing a book. Their call was answered. But it was the mist who delivered them from the ravaging hunger. Let's see. The next land, the wolf and his followers would discover was Folka, and there was no way out. The mist had claimed them. Nice. All right. So we're kind of looking at, not so much Midgard, but like Viking Heaven. You do a good job as a Viking. You die well. You get to go to Viking Heaven. You get to fight all day. You get to fuck all night, right? So you fight all day, and then you fuck all night, and you're drinking constantly, right? So it's Viking Heaven. Now, this is not Viking Heaven, is the thing, right? This is Viking Purgatory, right? They are. Oh man, maybe. We'll have to figure out. Like, that's the other thing. When we transition it from the wolf to the hag, we got to figure out what happened there. Now, we know that their home world that they came from, they had decimated it. They had eaten everything. They had killed everything. They had fucked everything. They had burned everything to the ground. They just were a consuming, destructive force that could not be stopped. So then we bring it over here, and we need to take that feeling, right, and we need to apply it to the realm that they created, with their beliefs, the world that was made for the wolf to contain him. So, what does the act sound like from a distance to someone in the next room? Okay. It sounds like wolves howling in the night, like a held, shuddering breath, ready to reveal your location to the hungering pack that seeks out your flesh. How does it smell? Okay. It smells of the forest. Damp, cold, and damp, cold, and earthy. There is another smell, one of damp fur and freshly spilled blood, of steaming entrails awaiting hungry maws. Alright, what color demands attention from the surroundings, decor, and aftermath? Okay. Vibrant greens, browns, and blues that stand starkly against an inevitable darkness, a dreary, ashen waste that will play out time and time again. I like this because, sort of like the Viking Heaven, this implies that this is a forest where they will hunt it, they will kill it, they will burn it down, and it will just simply renew. and it will just keep coming back to basically keep them in this perpetual hamster wheel of Viking Raider activities. So part of why the seasons change is that the world is stuck in this constant cycle of renewal to satiate the hunger of the wolf and his followers. They needed a place where they could play out this hunger over and over and over again. What shapes, symbols, and decorations stand out? All right. Let's see. The hunters are sharp. Rough angles. The prey are soft, round shapes. Let's see. Axe blades and sharp fangs. Claws and eyes. Always watching and waiting for prey. Alright. What does the light or darkness hide and reveal? Okay. The night brings the surety of the hunt. The inevitable death that comes to any caught out in the cold. Morning brings spring and renewal. A bright summer's sun melts the snow and warms the lands till late afternoon, when the leaves begin to die and the chill of winter once again sets in. Oh shit, so they do a full seasonal cycle every day. Oh, that's fucking hype. Alright. Are there any subtle or sudden or subtle movements one's eye is drawn to? The forest is lush and ripe with life. Each morning, the dead are forced to live again, to again play out their roles in the hunter's eternal and endless hungering pursuits. Okay. Your eyes are drawn to bird and fish and small furred critters, all living in a constant state of fear, remembering each and every death and dreading the next. Yeah, I like the idea that she comes in and offers him a way to escape, because I imagine that this seems like a paradise at first, right? And then Groundhog's Day style, you're like, I'm trapped, like, forever. Like, this is the same lands, the same prey over and over and over and over again. And then she comes in, she offers him something different. And he doesn't really understand that when she says something different, she means that she's going to kill him. And so he agrees to it, and that's what gives her the power to kill him. Ooh, that's good shit. That's good shit. Let's write that down before we forget it. How did the wolf die? All right. Let's see. The hag, under the guise of a traveling woman slash wise woman slash herbalist slash witch. Let's see. Promised to free the wolf from his endless and now very boring hunt. She claimed to know a way to break the cycle, to end what was happening, and free the wolf from his prison. The freedom, of course, was death. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. All right. Let's see. Who is there? All right. Initially, the wolf and his tribe. But over time, those who craved the endless pursuits of murder and hunting and bloodshed. In time, those foolish enough to wander into the woods and lose their way and become eternal prey. Footnote here, if you die in Folka, you can never leave. Oh man, could you imagine that? You're like a merchant in Vone, and then they're like, "Bro, I need you to go to Folka, and I need you to get this thing," and you're like, "Nah." Because like if you get killed while you're in Folka, you're trapped there forever. You'll wake up every morning, unable to leave, just constantly hunted by the creatures that live there. Maybe the hag promises the wolf that she can get rid of this regrowing land, but he must lend her a taste of his strength, but in truth uses his power to take control of his land. That did change it, but also took the wolf power from him, causing his death. I like Fae. I like it when Fae do the evil genie thing, right? Like, she only makes the promise to, to free him. He, of course, I guess is suspicious. Like, what do you get in return? And then she says, I'll take the lands that you leave behind. Right? So, like, everything that she says and everything that she does is a literal promise and a literal interpretation of the words that she said. She never lies to him. She never lies to him. I love Fae that never have to lie. For me, like Fae creatures that accomplish what they want and never lie to you, and then you still feel lied to at the end, those are the best. Her price was simply the land he intended to leave behind. All right. How are they breathing? Both hunter and prey have quick and ragged breath, labored from endless running, hunting, evading, and fighting. What are they feeling or thinking? Is this a scene or something else entirely? Okay. The hunters feel an all-consuming hunger. To deny it is worse than death, a crippling and debilitating starvation that saps the strength from body, soul, and mind until you succumb. The hunger always wins. For the prey, it is an endless cycle of fear and death. Are words spoken? Are they relevant to the scene or unrelated? Let's see. That's fair. So most of the hunters have embraced their more bestial natures, though some maintain language and humanity. Either as a tool or as an exercise in control. The same is true for prey. Some have gone nearly or completely mad from fear and pain. But some communities retain enough sense of self and humanity to struggle onwards, praying for a permanent death, or perhaps salvation. All right. Oh, also, Nightbot didn't mention this, but this weekend, Nord Games is going to have 20% off everything on their website. So if you like any of that stuff, like this sweet-ass settlement guide that we've been using for this series, 20% off everything in the whole store, because Memorial Day. So that's the thing. All right, where does this take place? The hunt ranges across all parts of the world, though the hunters are most active at night and slumber during the day. All right. When the scene is over, what evidence remains? Okay. Let's see. Any who die in Folka quickly rot and decay. But when the first blossoms of spring poke through the frost of night's winter, they are born again, whole and ready for the endless hunt. Alright, before this unfortunate scene happened, what warnings Mr. Foreshadows? Honestly, this dude was an insane super Viking. There was not much to be done about it. Big shrug. Alright. So, and we also know how the wolf died, and then, of course, the hag takes over. So, the hag. Alright. The hag is a little bit different. The hag wanted to be a dreadlord. So obviously, if we're going with D&D lore, this would be a night hag, right? Because night hags are the best at understanding the power of belief. They're technically fiends and fae, so they're like a dual type Pokemons. And being from the lower planes, they would know the power of belief, blah, blah, blah. So the hag actually views this as the closest to godhood, right, that they could get is to take over a domain and become a dreadlord. So I thought up a look for the hag. Maybe like half of her body is her human disguise of a beautiful woman, while the other half is her hag form. Maybe some black goat motif, so a two-face appearance. Oh, that'd be kind of hype. Let's see. I'll do hag notes. Let's see. Goats. Duality. Two-face. Also, you know who is two-faced? Hell. Which, if we're sticking with the Viking shit, right? Like, Hell is half corpse and half beautiful woman. So there's that aspect as well we could kind of play on if we're going to stick with the more Viking-esque themes in here. All right. What does the axe sound like from a distance or someone in the next room? Okay, so basically, the hag... Oops. Like all the greatest fae in history, the hag never lies. Her words are always truce, half-truce, or the words, or not the words, or words that can be interpreted in the manner let's see. The words are always truce, half-truce, or can... Oh, here we go. Or left open to interpretation. We'll just say left open to interpretation. Which often leads her victims to overthink, overconfidence, or simply naivety and naivety and foolish optimism. All right, let's see. So what does it sound like? The hag and her followers whisper promises. The tones are both frightening and compelling. The sweetest grandmother comforting you, and the hungriest hag luring you into her oven. A beautiful lover promising everything, and a sadistic jailer denying everything. All right. How does the act or its consequences smell? All right. The lands of Folka remain much as they were. Let's see. Changing, renewing, and supporting an eternal hunting ground. Under the hag's rule, the Fae, unaffected by the curse of hunger that damns the lycans, are able to build and settle regions. There are now permanent settlements. Feywild and Shadowfell plants and creatures. I guess we'll put flora and fauna, so we sound smart, I guess. Flora and fauna have migrated to Folka, drawn by the hag's power. Oh, yeah. Sweet rose and a rotten apple core. That's good. There's also a duality to all things in Folka now. For example, you might stop to smell a beautiful thorned rose, and within its bouquet, smell the fragrance of the flower and the rotting meat that sustains it just below the surface. Oof. All right. What colors demand attention from the surrounding decor and aftermath? All right. The forest has taken on a much more unnatural color palette in many places. Even in areas where the hag's influence has not yet spread, the colors are all blown out. The saturation too high, almost painfully in some places. All right. And then we'll put, think Fable 1 bloom filter. I love Fable 1. It's one of my favorite video games, but yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true too. Contrast also high to support the duality. Even at midday, the bright spots are painfully bright. The shadows unnaturally dark. Nice. What shapes, symbols, and decorations stand out? Okay. Everywhere is balance, yet more a statement of duality. The sharp shapes found in the wolf's Folka are grotesquely sharp now. Soft and soothing parts of the world are now pathetically soft and weak. In some cases, drearily boring in their simplicity. Alright, what does the light or darkness reveal? Continuing the theme. As above. I'm just going to copy and paste the sun shit, because I feel like that kind of summed up really good. There we go. Alright. Let's see. But we'll put the Fae prefer daylight hours, as the nights still belong to the wolf's lingering followers, who, unlike their lord, were not granted an escape from their endless hunt. Are there any sudden or subtle movements one's eye are drawn to? One always feels the change, the shift in the world of Folka. Plants grow at speeds even the naked eye can see if it lingers long enough. Who is there? Alright. The Fae and Redcaps share Folka with the lycans. The lycans are overjoyed to have new prey to hunt, especially prey as powerful and cunning as the Fae and Redcaps. Let's see. So an idea, maybe she didn't have this two-faced look at first, but when she took the land... Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. I like that. Okay. The duality of her trickster nature was exaggerated and pulled forth by the mists. Once a beauty among her kind, she can never hide the twisted and cruel aspects of her nature. Alright. She now can never hide the twisted... Okay, that's cool. Hey, what's up? How are they breathing? Okay. Let's see. How are they breathing? I feel like it wouldn't have changed too much. The lycans have a renewed sense of purpose and vigor. The prey have found some bit of respite with the hunter's attention drawn to the newcomers. In some cases, they are even given a new life within the Fae settlements. In this way, the hunters breathe with renewed vigor, and the prey breathes a small sigh of relief. The Fae are determined to make Folka theirs and master the nature of this realm. What are they feeling and thinking? I feel like that kind of just bleeds into the previous question a little bit. Are words spoken? Yeah, but man, when you first played Fable, when it first came out, you were like, God damn, this is beautiful. You didn't know why, you didn't know what a bloom filter was yet. You were just like, man, it's so beautiful. When I look at it, it almost hurts my eyes. It's so beautiful. What are they feeling and thinking? It's about seeing something else entirely. Yeah, I feel like in this instance, these two questions somehow got combined. I'm not sure how I did that, but are any words spoken? Yes. The lycans have recalled more and more of their humanity, needing the cunning of man to compete with the Fae. The Fae use words as weapons and have begun to draw in outsiders from neighboring realms with the intention of outnumbering and eventually caging and locking away the lycans. Okay. Where does this take place? All right. This is actually a good question now, because where does this take place? The lycans have withdrawn to the wildest places of Folka. The Fae have settled the lands most suited for civilization and trade. The redcaps, oops, you don't get your own section, hold on. The redcaps have quickly spread from Folka to all regions of the world, though Folka holds great interest for them. The idea of immortality and constant bloodshed has kept many within the boundaries of the region. All right. Yeah, I like it though. I like it's like a corruption of Viking heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much eternal battle. It's just eternal bullying. It's just eternal slaughter. Like in Viking heaven, everybody gets, shirts and skins. You go on separate teams and you fight each other all day. And then everybody's bros at the end of the night. But in Folka, there's no opportunity for that. Like you're perpetually just doing the same horrible, mad, murderous dance over and over and over and over again. I really like that. When the scene is over, what evidence remains? Okay. Let's see. The new residents, Folka, guard their lives and their souls well. They understand the nature of the realm, of the domain, I guess, and wish not to be caught up in the eternal hunt. All right. Okay. Before this unfortunate scene happens, what warnings were missed or foreshadowed? This is actually important now, because amongst the lycans were two powerful warriors / jarls in the service of the Great Wolf. They cautioned against dealing with the Fae woman, and tried to dissuade the wolf from taking her bargain. They have never forgiven her treachery and the loss of both the wolf and their way of life. Right. So, amongst these remaining lycan leaders, one seeks to remove the hag and restore the hunt. The other seeks the hag's favor and assistance to end the hunt forever. Oof! Now we have two different factions of lycans. Ones that want to continue the endless hunt, and ones that want to be freed from it. Ooh, I really like that. So here's the thing. We did say that anyone who dies here can never leave. So we would have to cover how would PC lycans leave the region. I feel like they would have to be relatively new lycans, right? They'd have to have been turned recently or born recently, and they have never actually died. The question there is, if I'm a lycan woman and I have a baby, I basically have to stay alive long enough to give birth to the baby? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the birth rate looking like in a place like that? Only the most badass of all creatures are actually giving birth in this setting, because if you die, you basically respawn, and I don't think you'd like respawn with a half-cooked bun in the oven, right? I mean, that's like a whole thing. How does birth... Oh, there you go. How does birth function in a land of constant change, death, and renewal? Good question. All right. If you die and respawn, how does birth happen? Anyways, exactly that, right? But my understanding is, yeah, like, are there new lycans? If I played a lycan in this setting, am I centuries old because I've always been part of the hunt? Like, how does that translate into a playable character? Like, is lycanthropy contagious, or is lycanthropy a curse only available to people who were originally followers of the Great Wolf? Is lycanthropy a curse that you, like Skyrim style, like you sign up for and like you do a whole ritual and shit and then you become one? I don't know. That's something that I don't want to change the way the region works, because I really like the whole perpetual renewal idea, the endless hunt. I think that's amazing. But I also know that people are going to want to play some motherfucking werewolves. You know what I'm saying? So the question here is there room in a setting like this for birth if rebirth is all that ever seems to happen? Yeah. That's a big question. And how then do they ever leave the region if they have died there, right? If every lycan there has died, yeah. Well, if you're consuming your prey, maybe consumption of of someone takes them out.
Like, not just killing them, but then actually eating them. Eating every last bit would prevent them from essentially respawning. And you take into them their power, blah, 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 blah. But in doing so, you also take in their hunger. Oh, okay. Kind of liking that. Is there permadeath? Question mark? Let's see. So we'll do this. We'll set it to be normal text. There we go. How does birth function in a land of constant change, death, and renewal? Is there permadeath? If you kill someone and consume their remains, every bit, every last drop, you take them into yourself, ending who they were forever. Let's see. This is dangerous because you also take into yourself their endless hunger. There are, amongst the lycans, ancients who have the strength and hunger of hundreds. There we go. All right. Let's see. Maybe lycans have a plan to seek some help from the realms, and so they made a secret project of lycan children. Their goal is to send out of Folka and then return to kill Hag. The other question is, how long has the Hag been in charge? Has the Hag been in charge long enough for communities of lycans who are using the Hag's changes to try and live a more human life? There's an idea. So it has been less than a century since the Hag took Folka for her own. In that time, there are tribes of lycans who, through discipline and fey magics, have learned, here we go, to control their hunger and cease the hunt. These small tribes have begun to carve out real lives for themselves, rediscovering many of the human ways they abandoned, including family. There we go. There we go. All right. We made it. We made it. So there are groups of lycans who, you know, they're taking the medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like, Harry Potter werewolf, got to take your medicine, Remus. That's true as well. There could have been Folka throughout the years that settled other places. Or descendants of powerful lycans who never got killed in Folka. There we go. All right. Other tribes. So, in the earliest days, some of the Great Wolf's original followers spread out into neighboring realms. These and their descendants escaped the fate of the eternal hunt, having never died within the borders of Folka. This is another great source of playable lycans. Alright, sweet. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, yeah, the leader of the old ways is the child of the great wolf. Ooh, I dig it. I dig it. Let's see. 1, and then we'll put child of the great wolf. Seeks to remove the hag and restore the hunt. The other seeks the hag's favor. Oh, well, why stop there? Maybe they're both children of the great wolf. Oh, shit. Interpreting father's vision differently. Oh, man. Nothing like siblings that are after each other. All right. So, I'm happy with how this turned out. Obviously, there's a lot more that needs to be done for Folka. I guess we will continue that next week, because we don't want to go... We're just doing an hour at a time on this. Don't want to burn ourselves out. So now that we have a feel for this place, next week we will actually hop onto the map, and we will start placing down those Fey settlements that we mentioned. A seat of power for the hag, unless, of course, we take the whole Baba Yaga route and give her some kind of badass mobile home situation. That's kind of cool too. And then yeah, that'll probably take up the whole thing, is getting that mapped out. And then we will move on to either Testfall, home of the constructs and science and all of that good stuff, or Lena Tustani, the desert realm of the vampires. So, yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Again, once we finish fleshing out the world, we're going to loop back around and revisit the races. If we're keeping them system agnostic, that will give us an opportunity to just sort of further develop the races in how they interact with each other and the different regions of the world that we have established, and of course the different religions, the 9 different religions that we've established, and how all of those are going to mix together. And we're just going to create all of these connections between everything and really start tying the world together with these interconnected threads, and those threads are what's going to make the world feel even more real and grounded as it builds off of itself. So, very excited for that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This project has been a blast to work on. I'm excited about the world that we're building. And I will see you next time.